Venezuela's crisis has been marked by hyperinflation, corruption, one of the world's highest homicide rates, medicine and food shortages, and the largest exodus in the recent history of Latin America. The country sitting on the world's biggest oil reserves is now the region's poorest performer in terms of GDP growth per capita. Will Venezuela survive this horrible inflation rate? Or is Venezuela doomed? To find out, keep on watching this video. Venezuela has been facing the worst economic crisis in its history recently, with an inflation rate crossing 400%. Heavily in debt and with inflation soaring, Venezuela's people continue to protest. President of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, stated that the highest increase in the new minimum wage rate ordered by Maduro, 65% of the monthly income, and also announced the creation of a new popular assembly with the ability to rewrite the constitution. International concern was raised, with Chile and Argentina among the countries expressing worry. Also, the Venezuelan opposition states that the move forward weakens the chances of holding a vote to remove Nicolas Maduro. Venezuela depends heavily on its oil. It has the world's largest oil reserves. In 2014, had around 298 billion barrels of proved oil reserves. Oil's revenue has sustained Venezuela's economy for years. Also, during the presidency of Hugo Chavez, the oil prices reached a historic high of $100 a barrel. Also, the billions of dollars in revenue were used to finance social programs and food subsidies. But those programs and subsidies became unsustainable as oil prices fell. The government also needs more cash. According to the Central Bank of Venezuela, the country has $10.4 billion in foreign reserves left and is estimated to have a debt of $7.2 billion. According to IMF figures, in 2016, the country had a negative growth rate of -8%, an inflation rate of 481%, and an unemployment rate of 17%, which is expected to climb to 20% this year. Currency controls have limited imports, putting a strain on supply. During the rule of Hugo Chavez, the price of key items, food, and medicines was reduced. Products became more affordable, but they were below the cost of production. Private companies were expropriated, and to stop people from changing the national currency into dollars, Chavez restricted access to dollars and fixed the rate. When it became unprofitable for Venezuelan companies to continue producing their products, the government imported them from abroad, using oil money. Since 2014, oil prices have been falling, and this has left the economic system not able to handle the system of subsidies and price controls that functioned during the booming years of oil. Moreover, the inability to pay for imports with bolivars and the decline in oil revenues have led to a shortage of goods. The state has tried to ration food and set their prices, but the consequence is that products have disappeared from shops and ended up in the black market, overpriced. As many as 85 of every 100 medicines are missing in the country. Doctors warn that shortages are so extreme that patients sometimes take medicines ill-suited for their conditions. People think there are two options before Maduro's government: to default on its debt or to stop importing food. Between 1900 and 1920, Venezuela's GDP grew at a rate of barely 1.8%. But between 1940 and 1948, it grew at 6.8% per annum. By the 1960s and 1970s, Venezuela's government could maintain social harmony by spending pretty large amounts on public programs. In the year 1970, Venezuela had become the wealthiest country in Latin America and one of the 20 richest countries globally, with a per capita higher than Spain and Greece. The Venezuelan workers were known for enjoying the highest wages in Latin America, which is a situation that dramatically changed when the oil prices collapsed during the 1980s. Venezuela's GDP went from -8.3% in 1989 to 4.4% in 1990 and 9.2% in 1991. But the wages remained low and unemployment high among Venezuelans. Today, the number of people living in poverty rose from 36% to 66% in 1995, with the country suffering a serious bank crisis. When Chavez first took over the office as president in 1999, Venezuela was not an economic model. Almost half the population was under the country's poverty line. The country was affluent, and the government finances were in good shape. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed today's video and found it interesting, then make sure to leave us a thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to be always updated with the most exciting content as soon as it's uploaded. Thanks for watching. See you again soon in another video.